Somewhere in your life, there is a person who never quite looks at you. Maybe it's a coworker who glances at your shoulder instead of your face. Maybe it's a partner who stares at the table during difficult conversations. Maybe it's you. And if it is, you have probably been told more than once that this small habit says something large and unflattering about your character, that it means you're hiding something, that it means you lack confidence, that it means you cannot be trusted. But what if almost everything you've been taught about eye contact is incomplete, oversimplified, and in some cases, entirely wrong? The story of why people avoid eye contact is one of the most misunderstood chapters in human psychology. It sits at the intersection of biology, trauma, neurology, and culture, and it reveals something profound about how the human brain processes one of the most intense forms of stimulation a person can experience. Because here's the truth that almost no one tells you. Looking directly into another human being's eyes is not a neutral act. It is one of the most powerful, most primal, and most physiologically demanding things two people can do to each other. And once you understand what is actually happening in the brain during eye contact, the question stops being, why do some people avoid it, and becomes, why does anyone manage to do it so easily at all? Let us begin with what eye contact actually does inside the nervous system, because the answer is far stranger than most people realize. When two people lock eyes, a cascade of activity ignites in regions of the brain associated with emotional processing, particularly a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. This is the brain's alarm system, the part responsible for detecting threats and triggering the body's fight-or-flight response. Direct eye contact activates the amygdala because, evolutionarily speaking, a direct stare has always carried significance. In the animal kingdom, prolonged eye contact is frequently a signal of dominance, challenge, or threat. Our ancestors needed to interpret a locked gaze instantly, friend or foe, safety or danger, and that ancient wiring has never fully left us. Which means that when you make eye contact with someone, some primitive layer of your brain is quietly asking, is this safe? For most people, this activation is so brief and so quickly resolved that it never reaches conscious awareness. The brain assesses the situation, determines there is no threat, and the social interaction proceeds normally. But for a significant number of people, this process does not resolve so easily. The alarm fires, and it keeps firing. And so the simplest, most ordinary human interaction, looking at another person's face, becomes something the nervous system treats as genuinely threatening. This is not weakness. This is not deception. This is the oldest survival circuitry in the human brain working exactly as it was designed to do, just in a context where that design has become a liability rather than a protection. Consider for a moment what is actually happening when you look into someone's eyes during a conversation. You are not simply observing color and shape. You are processing an extraordinary amount of emotional information in real time. Micro-expressions, pupil dilation, the subtle tightening around the eyes that signals stress, the almost invisible shifts that reveal whether someone is telling the truth or constructing a careful performance. Neuroscientists have discovered that the brain regions responsible for processing faces, particularly a region known as the fusiform face area, are among the most metabolically active areas during social interaction. Reading a face is, quite literally, hard work. It requires significant cognitive and emotional resources. For some people, this resource demand becomes overwhelming, and avoiding eye contact becomes an unconscious strategy for managing an experience that has simply become too intense to sustain. This is where the story takes its first major turn, the one that most casual explanations skip entirely. Because for a specific and significant portion of the population, the discomfort with eye contact is not a personality quirk, but a neurological reality, and it is most clearly documented in autism research. Brain imaging studies on autistic individuals revealed direct eye contact frequently triggers heightened and prolonged activity in the amygdala compared to neurotypical individuals, meaning the threat detection system fires harder and resolves more slowly. For someone on the autism spectrum, making eye contact is not simply uncomfortable, it can be genuinely overstimulating, even painful in a way that most people will never personally experience. And yet, for decades, this avoidance was interpreted by teachers, employers, and even family members as rudeness, disinterest, or social failure. The behavior was punished, corrected, and shamed, when in fact it was the nervous system doing exactly what it needed to do to stay regulated. But autism is only one thread in a much larger tapestry, because eye contact avoidance shows up powerfully in the psychology of trauma, and this is where the story becomes deeply human and deeply moving. Consider someone who grew up in a household where direct eye contact from an authority figure reliably preceded criticism, anger, or punishment. For a child in that environment, learning to avoid direct eye contact is not a flaw, it's an adaptation. It's the nervous system's intelligent, protective response to a world where being seen too clearly was dangerous. That child grows up and the threat is long gone, but the body remembers. And so decades later, in a job interview or a first date or an ordinary conversation with a friend, that same nervous system flinches away from direct eye contact, following a survival pattern written long before the rational mind had any say in the matter. There's a particular psychological phenomenon connected to this called hypervigilance, commonly seen in people who have experienced chronic stress, abuse, or unpredictable environments. Hypervigilant nervous systems are perpetually scanning for danger, and direct eye contact, with its intensity, its vulnerability, its potential for being truly seen, can feel like standing in an exposed field with no cover. Avoiding eye contact in this context becomes a form of self-protection so deeply wired that the person doing it may not even be consciously aware of why they're doing it. They simply feel a powerful magnetic pull to look away, and they've spent so long obeying that pull that it now feels like a fundamental part of who they are. And yet, here is where the story gets even more layered. Not all eye contact avoidance comes from pain. Some of it comes from something far more surprising: deep concentration. Researchers studying conversational behavior have found that when people are asked difficult questions, especially ones requiring complex thought or memory retrieval, they very frequently look away before answering. This is not evasion, this is cognitive load management. The brain, faced with the dual task of processing a complex question while simultaneously managing the intense social and emotional information coming through another person's face, often resolves the conflict by temporarily reducing visual input. Looking away frees up mental bandwidth. Children do this constantly and naturally, looking up to the ceiling or off to the side when trying to recall something specific, and most adults do the exact same thing without ever noticing. This single fact alone overturns one of the most pervasive, most damaging myths about eye contact: the idea that looking away while answering a question is evidence of dishonesty. For decades, popular culture and amateur lie detection theories insisted that liars avoid eye contact, that the inability to hold a gaze reveals a guilty conscience. But controlled research into deception has consistently failed to support this belief. Skilled liars, it turns out, often maintain eye contact deliberately and confidently, precisely because they know it's culturally associated with honesty. Meanwhile, truthful people, especially those who are nervous, introverted, or simply concentrating hard on giving an accurate answer, frequently look away, not because they are lying, but because they are thinking. The myth has caused untold harm in courtrooms, interrogation rooms, and everyday relationships, where innocent people have been judged as deceptive simply because their eyes moved in a way that violated a cultural assumption with no real scientific foundation. Culture itself adds another fascinating dimension to this entire conversation, because the meaning of eye contact is far from universal.
In many Western societies, sustained eye contact is taught from early childhood as a marker of confidence, honesty, and respect. But in numerous cultures across Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and indigenous communities throughout the world, prolonged direct eye contact, particularly towards elders, authority figures, or unfamiliar people, is considered disrespectful, confrontational, or even aggressive. A child raised in one of these cultures who lowers their gaze when speaking to a teacher is not displaying insecurity. They are displaying exactly the behavior their culture has spent generations teaching them is correct, polite, and appropriate. The tragedy is that when these individuals move into Western-dominated environments, schools, or workplaces, their culturally appropriate behavior is frequently misread through a narrow lens, and they are penalized for a gesture of respect that has simply been misinterpreted as weakness or dishonesty. There is also a quieter, more intimate version of eye contact avoidance that almost everyone has personally experienced, and it has nothing to